Please close your eyes. Focus on your breathing. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. As you breathe in through your nose, breathe in a lot of positive energy. As you breathe out through your mouth, breathe out worries, any tension, irritation, frustration, and unawareness through your mouth. Keep breathing in a lot of positive energy through your nose. Now slowly come back to your normal breathing. Let's invoke all the loving, healing, and guiding masters. Our angel guides, our highest consciousness, frequency of love, radical consciousness, and the prime resource energy. Thank them. Seek their blessings. Seek their guidance and help. Seek alignment with your life plan, prosperity consciousness, life purpose, and the greater purpose. Take a deep breath. Gather all your energies from wherever they are and then come back to you. You may open your eyes. For today's recitation, the chakra that has come is, the code is PR 37. It's right relationship chakra. In fact, it is the tip of the ring finger and on the right. This chakra is a reminder to receive through your relationship. Because every relationship thrives with the give and take. There are many resources that are exchanged in the relationship. Love, trust being the main. Money, care, knowledge, blessings. Suggestions, advice, a lot of things can change hands in the relationship. However, many times it so happens that one may feel that there is a block in receiving. Of course, when you are working with Redikall, you will know that there is a block in receiving. Otherwise, people would be in blame that they are not giving. The people in my relationship are not giving me. And anyway, blame like how otherwise opposite attract the opposite here, like attracts like. So if you are blaming, you invite blames. When I opened the reading, my eyes fell on the radical clearance of this chakra. And that clearance is recognize personal, past life, or ancestral unpleasantness related to receiving from relationship or the loved ones. It's interesting when at one side we feel good when somebody gives us, other side we may also feel small while receiving. We may also feel burdened when we are receiving. We may also feel it's a lot of obligation when we are receiving. We may also feel belittled when we are receiving. Some may feel humiliated while receiving. Some may receive helplessly because they have no other choice than to receive whatever the other person is giving. So the pleasant and unpleasant feelings are associated with receiving. And today, Redikall and Masters are guiding us. Address your past life program or past life ancestral or current life guilt or the unpleasantness of receiving through your loved ones or any relationship. The relationship could be even through your career. Because we have a relationship with everyone in our life. And who would like to repeat the statements?
Ma'am, shall I?
Thank you so much, Shailesh. Thank you. IR5, my receiving.
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 IR5, the unpleasantness in 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 receiving.
IR5, my resistance to receive.
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 IR5, my pride.
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 I R5 my need to borrow, guilt of unpleasant receiving through my ancestors.
I R5 my guilt of. Ma'am, can you break this?
I R5 my guilt of borrowing,
I R5 my guilt of borrowing,
guilt of unpleasant receiving
guilt of unpleasant receiving
from my ancestors.
from my ancestors.
I R5 my guilt of
I R5 my guilt of.
I R5 my need to borrow, the guilt of unpleasant receiving.
I R5 my need of, the guilt of borrowing.
I R5 my need to borrow, guilt from my ancestors.
I R5 my need to borrow, the guilt from my ancestors.
I R5 my need to borrow, guilt from my ancestors.
I R5 my need to borrow, guilt from my ancestors.
I R5 my need to borrow, guilt from my ancestors.
I R5 my need to borrow, guilt from my ancestors.
I R5 the guilt of making others small in the past while received.
I R5 my guilt of making others small while receiving.
I R5 my guilt of making others small when they received.
I R5 my guilt of making others small when they receive.
I R5 making my guilt of making others small when they received in the past.
I R5 my guilt of making others feel small when they received in the past.
I R5 my fear of becoming dependent on others when I receive.
I R5 my guilt of fear of becoming dependent when I receive.
I R5 my fear of becoming dependent on others when I receive.
I R5 my fear of becoming dependent on others when I receive.
I R5 my fear of becoming dependent on others when I receive.
I R5 my fear of becoming dependent on others when I receive.
I R5 my need for independence.
I R5 my need for independence.
I R5 my need for independence preventing me from receiving.
I R5 my need for independence preventing me from receiving.
I R5 my need for independence preventing me from receiving.
I R5 my need for independence preventing me from receiving.
I R5 my need for independence preventing me from receiving.
I R5 my need for independence preventing me from receiving.
I R5 my association of receiving with being caged.
I R5 my association of receiving with being caged.
I R5 my association of receiving with being caged.
I R5 my association of receiving with being caged.
I R5 my association of receiving with being caged.
I R5 my association of receiving with being caged.
I R5 my worry of karmic consequences when I receive.
I R5 my worry of karmic consequences when I receive.
I R5 my worry of karmic consequences when I receive.
I R5 my worry of karmic consequences when I receive.
I R5 my worry of karmic consequences when I receive.
I R5 my worry of karmic consequences when I receive.
I R5 my belief that when I receive, I have to give more than what I receive.
I R5 my belief that
When I receive,
when I receive, I have to give more than what I receive.
I R5 my belief that I have to give more than what I receive when I receive.
IR5, my belief that when I receive, I have to give more than what I receive.
IR5, my belief that when I receive, I have to give more than what I receive.
IR5, my belief that when I receive, I have to give more than what I receive.
IR5, my belief that my receiving will create imbalance.
IR5, my belief that my receiving will create imbalance.
IR5, my belief that receiving creates 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 imbalance.
IR5, my unawareness that I can receive and contribute in synchronicity.
IR5, my unawareness that I can receive and contribute in synchronicity.
IR5, my unawareness that I can receive and give in synchronicity.
IR5, my unawareness that I can receive and contribute in synchronicity.
What's happening?
Ma'am, I'm good, ma'am. I'm feeling very good.
How are others feeling? Anyone is having any aches or pains? Feeling good?
Ma'am,
Yeah, tell me.
there's like there's something stuck in my throat and it's difficult to
Okay.
swallow.
Okay. IR5, my worthiness to receive through my relationship.
IR5, my worthiness to receive through my relationships.
IR5, my worthiness to receive through my relationship.
IR5, my worthiness to receive through relationships.
IR5, my worthiness to receive through my relationship.
IR5, my worthiness to receive through my relationships.
How is that stuck feeling?
It's still there, ma'am, but little it has like decreased.
Okay. IR5, my guilt of making others unworthy
IR5, my guilt of making others unworthy
when they received.
when they received.
IR5, my guilt of making others unworthy when they received.
IR5, my guilt of making others unworthy when they received.
IR5, my guilt of making others unworthy when they received through me.
IR5, my guilt of making others unworthy when they received through me.
Yeah, check how is the sensation.
Ma'am, I think 2%.
Okay,
It's almost.
okay. So just be there and just Sapna, can you tell me which part of your body is feeling heavy?
I am feeling heavy, specifically my back and shoulders.
Okay. IR5, my association of receiving with lot of responsibilities.
IR5, my association of receiving with lot of responsibilities.
IR5, my association of receiving with lot of responsibilities.
IR5, my association of receiving with lot of responsibilities.
IR5, my association of receiving with lot of responsibilities.
IR5, my association of receiving with lot of responsibilities.
IR5, my erroneous associations.
I archive my erroneous associations.
I archive my erroneous associations in terms of receiving.
I archive my erroneous associations in terms of receiving.
I archive my erroneous association in terms of receiving.
I archive my erroneous associations in terms of receiving.
Now tell me, Swapna.
Little better, but my shoulder is still very heavy.
Which shoulder?
Both
Both the sides?
the sides, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And after I started, repeating the statements that you gave, I'm feeling little giddy also.
I archive my belief that receiving or contribution will put me off balance.
I archive my belief that receiving or contribution will put me off balance.
I archive my belief that receiving or contribution will put me off balance.
I archive my belief that receiving or contribution will put me off balance.
I archive my belief that receiving or contributing will put me off balance.
I archive my belief that receiving or contribution will put me off balance.
I archive my need to align to the channel of receiving and contribution in me.
I archive my need to align with channel of receiving and contribution in me.
I archive my need to align to the channel of contribution and receiving in me.
I archive my need to be aligned with channel of contribution and receiving in me.
I archive my need to align to the contribution of receiving and contribution in me.
I archive my need to align with the channel of contribution and receiving in me.
What is happening?
Much better. I mean, at least my shoulders that were very heavy has become light, but that giddiness is still there.
Which one is there?
Giddiness, I mean, I'm feeling,
It is. Okay.
yeah, giddiness.
Okay. Okay. Let's say this. I transform and transcend.
I transform and transcend
My need to receive
my need to receive
with grounding.
with grounding.
I transform and transcend my need to receive with grounding.
I transform and transcend my need to receive with grounding.
I transform and transcend my need to receive with grounding.
I transform and transcend my need to receive with grounding.
I transform and transcend my imbalanced receiving and contribution.
I transform and transcend my imbalance, receiving and contribution.
I transform and transcend my imbalance receiving and contribution.
I transform and transcend my imbalance in receiving and contribution.
I transform and transcend my imbalance in receiving and contribution.
I transform and transcend my imbalance in receiving and contribution.
Yeah, Sapna, check. How is the giddiness?
Better, much better. Thank you.
Most well. Thank you. How is everybody feeling? Bhuwana, how are you feeling now? Fine. So let us reprogram with these statements. I peacefully progress and prosper.
I peacefully progress and prosper.
Receiving humbly through my relationships.
Receiving humbly through my relationships.
I peacefully progress and prosper.
I peacefully progress and prosper.
Receiving humbly and abundantly through my relationship.
Receiving humbly and abundantly through my relationships.
I peacefully progress and prosper.
I peacefully progress and prosper.
Receiving humbly and abundantly
Receiving humbly and abundantly
all the required resources
all the required resources
through my relationship.
through my relationships.
Feeling settled?
Ma'am,
Mhm.
I'm having a back pain in the middle.
Okay. Back heart chakra.
Yeah, little left side.
Up. Up.
It's very sharp.
Okay. This is for you, Shiresha. I forgive myself for backstabbing myself and others.
I forgive myself for backstabbing myself and others
In receiving
in
or while
receiving.
receiving.
While receiving. I forgive myself for backstabbing others and myself while receiving. I forgive myself for backstabbing myself and others while receiving. I forgive myself for backstabbing others and myself while receiving.
What's happening?
Yes, ma'am, that pain has like decreased a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling better, ma'am.
Also address the association of being backstabbed when you receive. Like how they say, in one hand people give, the other hand they backstab. Making sense?
Yes, ma'am.
That's a belief that is borrowed.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.